Hello, as we continue to celebrate the Christmas season, today we celebrate the memorial of St. John Neumann, Bishop of Philadelphia, the only American bishop to be canonized. I want to meditate with you on the reading from the first letter of St. John, chapter 4, verses 7 through 10. Beloved, let us love one another, because love is of God. Everyone who loves is begotten by God and knows God. Whoever is without love does not know God, for God is love. In this way, the love of God was revealed to us. God sent his only begotten Son into the world so that we might have life through him. In this is love, not that we have loved God, but that he loved us and sent his Son as expiation for our sins. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. As I said, we are continuing to celebrate the Christmas season. Here in the United States, we have already celebrated the Feast of Epiphany. Christmas is a feast for little people. Christmas recalls that the mighty God became a little child. It was to the little people of the world that Christ first showed himself, to Mary and Joseph, and to the shepherds in the little town of Bethlehem. It is fitting that during this season we honor St. John Neumann, a little saint. He was little in the sense that he was short. Many thought little of him, as he was born in Bohemia. He spoke 8 languages, but many thought little of his broken English. When he was named Bishop of Philadelphia, other than his consecrators, not a single bishop attended his consecration. He was shunned because of his short stature, because of his broken English, and because he was a Bohemian. His name is even misspelled in St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. He is buried in Old St. Peter's Church in Philadelphia, which I have been privileged to visit. But even there, his name is misspelled. He was a Redemptorist priest. The Redemptorists are an order founded by St. Alphonsus Liguori. And so he followed the example of St. Alphonsus in his concern for the little people. But this little saint made a big difference. The mid-1800s saw the rise of the Know-Nothing Party in this country. And the Know-Nothings despised 3 groups: immigrants, blacks, and Catholics. St. John Neumann helped these 3 groups. First, he ministered to immigrants, whether Irish, German, Italian, or other, by building schools and by establishing a diocesan school system, by writing 2 catechisms for German-speaking immigrants, and by inviting religious sisters to help teach in Catholic schools. Second, he helped bring Christ to both free blacks and slaves. When Archbishop Eccleston of Baltimore wanted to disband the Oblate Sisters of Providence, an order of black nuns, then Father Neumann intervened and begged for a reprieve. The Archbishop relented, and the unwanted sisters flourished with their little chaplain. Third, he strengthened the Catholics of Philadelphia, whose churches had been desecrated by the Know-Nothings. Bishop Neumann wanted to assure his flock of Christ's presence and protection. He instituted the first regular observance of what is now known as 40 hours devotion in this country, after which no Catholic church in his diocese was desecrated by the Know-Nothings. We heard in our first reading from the first letter of St. John, "In this is love, not that we have loved God, but that he loved us and sent his Son as expiation for our sins." God sent his Son into the world when we were poor, outcast, sinners. He loved us. He came to us. Does his love inspire us to love the little people of our world? Certainly, it inspired St. John Neumann. He lived his life so that the little people of his world might know God's love. He was tireless, and he died all alone, collapsing on the streets of Philadelphia, exhausted from his labors. His simple prayer had been, "Jesus, for you I want to live. For you I want to die. I want to be all yours in life. I want to be all yours in death." There were many in his day who desired to be bishop with the associated title, trappings, and privileges. None are saints. Of all the American bishops in history, only the little man who lived and died for Jesus and for Jesus' poor is a saint. Just a little something to think about as we continue to have ourselves a merry little Christmas.